Hello everybody and welcome to the old format. I know some of you like this better than me just sort of talking on the more TikToky ones. So I'm going to be doing a combination of these when I have something relevant to show you from the chart that I want to demonstrate, like today, or if it's a more general discussion about some trends that are happening, I will do it on the other way. But anyway, let's get to this. This is an interesting prediction involving Israel. As you can see, there's the chart, and I'm going to be talking about this year, 2024. Today is the 16th of February for anyone who's watching. Now, Israel's birth date is 14 May 1948, makes it a Taurus. Interestingly, however, the sun for Israel is at, as you can see there, 23 degrees of Taurus, 39 minutes. There you go. And as you know, Uranus is going to be conjunct that point this year. This very significantly during the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, which will also be triggering that very much so. And the other important point to make is that it's very odd that this birthday was chosen for Israel, because the sun is conjunct the most unfortunate fixed star, which is Algol. As you can see there, Algol is one of the most unfortunate stars. In fact, that whole zone between the last degrees of Taurus and first degrees of Gemini is very unlucky, which I'll also come to in further vlogs, is significant because this year Uranus turns retrograde on 27 degrees of Taurus, which is basically very close within the sphere of Algol. And I'm going to be looking at other years where this happened. So Ptolemy referred to it as the Gorgon of Perseus, and it's associated with death by decapitation. It's historically received a strong association with violence across a variety of cultures. So from medieval Arabic cultures to, Egyptians to Greeks, were all noticing the malevolent effect when things were conjunct Algol in astrology. It says the 17th century English astrologer William Lilly regarded any planet to be afflicted whether it's within 5 degrees of conjunction. So, as I say, quite odd that Israel has that chart. There you go. You see Sun is ruling the 11th house of friends and allies. Very interesting. And it's basically in a weak position there, conjunct Algol. Now, let's have a look and see what was happening when Uranus was directly opposite this point in 1981. What was happening in Israel? Because it's similar to now. Uranus was sort of forward and retrograde stationary over this point. So it wasn't just making a transit and moving right past it. It was forward and retrograde. What was happening? Here we can have a look, and I want you to take big note of this. In March of 1981, when a similar transit was happening, but of course in the opposite sign of Scorpio, a terrorist infiltrating from Lebanon used a motorized hang glider, and he managed to reach Haifa and drop some bombs over the city bay. He was arrested after his glider's motor ran out of fuel and was forced to land. Interesting that under a very similar Uranus transit, virtually the same thing happened as October the 7th, showing you that that was easily foreseeable, and it was something that could have been guarded against if people had, been thinking about it. What also we note was this was a time of notable Palestinian militant operations against Israeli targets in Israel and abroad. For example, on the 10th of August, Palestinian terrorists threw 2 bombs at the Israeli embassy in Vienna, in that case wounding a 75-year-old woman. Significantly, in August of 1981 was the Vienna synagogue attack, when Palestinian terrorists killed 2 and wounded 30 people attending a bar mitzvah. Also significant about this year, 1981, when we have the similar transits, was for the first time Israel intervened directly in the war between Syria and Lebanese Christians as an Israeli jet shoots down Syrian helicopters. So that indicates that this year we'll also be seeing a great escalation in tension with Israel and Syria, with possibly military action. But very significant, 7th June 81 was Operation Opera, when 8 Israeli F-16s escorted by F-15s attacked and severely damaged Ozark, an Iraqi nuclear reactor near Baghdad. Israeli military intelligence had said it was built by Saddam Hussein for the purpose of plutonium production to further an Iraqi nuclear weapons program. Now, that was Iraq, but we could see a repeat this year with Iran. So that feeds into this whole growing tension with Iran, which is another reason why they might want Donald Trump in, because his supporters could be partial to attacking Iran, and we know that while he's quite good with Russia and not pushing more in that direction, he may just be the one to push it when it comes to Iran. So let's just have a look at the other similar year when Uranus was in similar degrees of Aquarius, like the end, 27, 28 degrees Aquarius, going station, retrograde station, and squaring up to Israel's sun. What was happening? So there were a few interesting things going on as well. Let's just have a little... I think one of the things were, oh yes, the 2002 Mombasa attacks. 3 Israelis, 10 Kenyans killed when a car bomb exploded in the lobby of an Israeli-owned beachfront Paradise Hotel. I think it was called the Paradise Hotel, right? And there we get the idea as well, attacks on Israeli targets abroad during these transits. You can easily foresee that might be happening given the response to Israel's defense stroke attack on the Palestinian people. It's easy to see that. There were also major developments in Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It was a really tough year for those. Israeli Defense Forces destroyed the 5-story building of the Palestine Broadcasting Center. There was also lots of other events. As you can see, Palestinian militant operations against Israeli targets were pronounced. There was another bar mitzvah massacre, this time at Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, where a gunman opened fire on a bar mitzvah celebration at Hadera, killing 6 Israelis before killing himself. So there was also the Tel Aviv outdoor mall bombing, the Jaffa Street bombing, which was a suicide attack in Jerusalem. There was another bombing in Tayibi. There was also the Karnai Shromon mall suicide bombing. So you see, there was quite a lot of attacks both within and without Israel and in Jerusalem. So there was on one stage aggression towards Syria and Palestine, but then there was a big bite back. So we can totally see that this might indicate some themes we'll be seeing. There was also the Cafe Moment bombing. It was in Jerusalem. I'm not sure if there were any others here. King George Street bombing, center of Jerusalem, the Passover massacre. So this was a really Allenby Street coffee bombing. So this was a really very, very destructive, bloody year with lots of civilians killed in various attacks. So I thought that was quite interesting in terms of the Israeli chart. With that Sun conjunct Algol being triggered by Uranus going backwards and forwards in the last degrees of Taurus. And also Jupiter will soon be squaring up to Pluto, so this could bring it all to light in the next few months. But I also see lots of action here in terms of their house of allies, with perhaps a sort of a change in, or a threat to people who have been traditional allies of Israel. Note that by birth the Sun is square Mars as well. Sun in Taurus can be quite a belligerent placement. Square Mars in Leo represents a lot of the kind of fervor, the nationalistic feeling, which leads to these very extreme reactions, which, you know, create a kind of eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth feel until the whole world's blind, because this is not a very forgiving placement. All these signs in Leo extremely proud and not eager to back down, but sometimes it just leads to more bloodshed. So I think that should be quite interesting going forward. Hope you enjoyed that.